So at the river, we have this line, real life, real people, real God. And that can look like a lot of things. You know, in real life, sometimes we enter into disappointing moments and we may wonder, does anybody see me? Does anybody see how disappointed I am? When I was young, I was like 12, my mom, she gave me a Black Hills gold locket. And it was really special. It was the first piece of jewelry that I owned, and I had worn it to school, and somehow it got lost. I was sort of not looking forward to telling my mom that I lost the locket that she gave me. So I come and I tearfully tell her, and I'm expecting like the wrath to come, but she doesn't. She's very kind, very understanding. She tries to help me find it. We look through the halls, we look on the playground. We never find it. So some time passes, and clearly it's just a locket, so I get over it. It's a memory, but that's all that it is. And I'm newly married, so I've been married for 6 months. And in the early stages of our marriage, things were tough. We were really young. I was 19, Dominic was 21, and we had to work out a lot of stuff. How do we live? When do we clean? How much money do we spend? What do we eat? Like all of these little things seem to be very dramatic for this very young, artsy couple. And so in the midst of one of those difficult conversations, I remember just praying and saying, God, I feel so frustrated in this. Like, we're not really connecting. This isn't the life that I anticipated when I said I wanted to get married. What do I do? I just don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know how I can live like this for the rest of my life. And we got up in the morning and we went to church, and I'm still feeling disappointed and frustrated. And in the midst of that, there's an usher. There's these guys that help people find a seat once the service is started. And he comes up and he has a box and a card, and he says, somebody wanted me to give this to you. And so I take it and I open the card, and the card says, I felt like God wanted you to have this. And so I open the box, and it's a Black Hills gold locket. It's larger than the Black Hills gold locket that I had had. Mine was very small. And I cried through that entire service because I just felt like, A, God had remembered something that happened to me when I was little, and B, I felt like God had said, I see you, I see how frustrated you are, and I care about those little things in your life. I care about them just as much or more than you care about them. And that's kind of the thing, is God is a relational God. And so we tend to think of God as this thing, he's up there somewhere, and you might hear like, God, if you can hear me. But over time, what I've come to realize is God wants to talk about the small things in life too. So we're real people living these real lives that have, we encounter whatever we encounter in those real lives. But then there's a real God that's making all the difference in even the smallest areas of our lives. And so the point is, walking into the church doesn't necessarily mean that you're not ever going to get a flat tire again. It doesn't mean that you're not going to encounter traffic on 93. Like, life is still what it is, and people are still who they are. So if you walk into the river, what you're going to see is people that do all sorts of different things for jobs, people that do all sorts of things for hobbies. There's going to be multi-generational, multi-ethnic. There's going to be lots of different people around, and they're all going to be experiencing the same things. As best as we can tell from the Bible, all that God ever wanted was to connect with people. That's all he ever wanted. And so the whole concept of why did Jesus come to earth? Why did he die on the cross for people's sins? The whole point is because God wants relationship with people. That was the whole plan from the beginning. And so we see that play out in our lives every day when we actually seek that.